Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. This is episode 4. And today we are gonna be watching this YouTube video called A Sincere Apology and My Truth. And we have a special guest today. So this little guy will be with us. Alright, so let's actually start this then. I actually have not read this or listened to it, so let's listen to this together, shall we?
They're coming straight in.
Without
Trust
ads.
me, I've got.
Everybody hates ads. Nothing so far. Alright. Will we get sooner? Later? Let's be patient. Still?
I don't know. I guess I want to start off by saying that this stream is somewhat scripted. There are a lot of things I do want to address today, and I'd like to keep my thoughts somewhat organized. I want to acknowledge, first off, that what I'm about to say, I don't want this to come off as an attack on anyone or to try and justify the things that I've said or done. I just want to share with you my truth and my experience and my feelings about everything that's happened, I guess. I want to say that I'm genuinely sorry. I know it's hard to believe coming from someone who said all of that disgusting stuff, and I don't know. I guess I just want to say that I do wish to be a better person. I didn't say that statement to try and, get apologies for me. I know that I want to be a better person going forward, and that's something that is not going to change and will not change. I think it's kind of hard to believe for a lot of people when I say that I'm not the person I was a few months ago, and that's okay. I don't think I'm totally 100% reformed, I'm not perfect, but I do think that your life experiences can shape the person that you are, and I think a lot of people maybe have misunderstood me, and so I just want to clarify. I did used to think that words were just words, and that is true. Everything I said just had no meaning, and I didn't say things because I hated people or I was angry with them. I just said them to say them without even thinking at all. But just in the past few months, since meeting a lot of people and kind of expanding my worldview, I really do not think that way anymore. I kind of realize now that words do have meanings, and implications and everything. It can really hurt. And these are things that I genuinely do regret, and I really intend to never repeat. and I'm truly, truly sorry if I've hurt you, and I hope that regardless of forgiveness, that you'll be able to heal from my words. That being said, I do want to clarify a few things that I've seen.
Before she clarifies that, I am glad that she has sincerely apologized. This is basically what this is. So as you guys know, the my last video for the Google Dog, she said the same thing. Words were just words and didn't know that words had meaning. But I'm glad that she um what's that word? I'm glad that she now understand words do have meaning. So keep in mind, everyone, words can also hurt people, not just your actions. Words can also hurt people. And now she understood that, so I'm glad that she understood that. So let's continue this.
First off, me deleting my posts had absolutely nothing to do with my statement. I was not aware of the video being leaked until I think a few hours after it had been posted to YouTube, and I had already kind of felt like I was on the path to become a kinder, more positive person, and that was, I don't know, was the point. I was like, well, I feel like maybe my personal account should reflect that. Also, I've never, and I will never, post any sort of like anti-LGBT or racist rhetoric. I'm not a political streamer. I don't intend to be. I believe that these are changes that kind of need to be made in my personal life. And I just don't want my community to be one that's made out of hatred. And also, maybe this is stupid to bring up, but
Odin Valhalla Rising.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't have YouTube Premium.
I'm gonna say it regardless. Yes, I hate yaoi. I'm personally not attracted to anime men, so it's kind of a two is worse than one situation for me. Any tweets regarding it were just in reference to me, like my friends talking about BL in the group chat and me just poking fun at them for it. And I guess moving on, I'm sorry if this is switching topics, but I also do want to speak about my experience. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you aren't really surprised to see a stream like this from me. I thought kind of a lot about if this was something I even wanted to get into, but I know there are a lot of rumors and speculation going around, so I do want to speak about my experience, at my job and with certain people. And I guess, I want to put it out there that this isn't really something that I wanted to be sensationalized. I feel like it's a really personal and emotional matter to me, and I never intended for things to end up this way, and I do feel sorry that they have. I guess I'll start with the job part. So, something that was kind of once presented as a dream opportunity, well, it very quickly just turned into a lot of stress and disappointment and disillusionment. And over the past year, I received very little of the support I was promised. I'm sorry if this is all gonna come out as blunt, but this is just my personal experience working, and I know other people have very varied ones. So this isn't meant to be like, oh, well, this person is lying, because some people I do believe have had positive experiences, but this is just mine. So the entire environment was just, it was filled with constant ongoing delays and a lot of the communication was very unclear and lacking, and I feel that overall it was just a very toxic and uncomfortable work culture. When I joined, we were asked to delete all personal and professional social media accounts and to step away from any existing jobs, IRL or otherwise, to commit fully to this new opportunity. And in return, I I I received what I feel like was minimal support and visibility and promotion to be able to sustain myself throughout the new transition. And because of a lot of unforeseen delays that followed shortly after onboarding, I went nearly 8 months without steady income. The majority of my first paycheck was used to cover required work-related expenses. In July 2024, I raised concerns about inappropriate behavior and misconduct within the company. I will try and clarify a little later what I mean by that. The individual in question had a known history of manipulation and targeting new hires, especially women. Despite this, I was told that no action would be taken due to fear of retaliation.
Now that's really fucked up. No action taken at all for that is really fucked up. Like, I know I'm not supposed to be like opinion based, but that's really fucked up and that's not cool. They should really take action for that part.
These issues were not new. They'd even been brought up long before I joined, but no meaningful steps were ever taken to address them. I feel like the toll this took on me was severe. My mental health wasn't really in a good place to begin with, and it deteriorated to the point where I could no longer function as I once had. I had to withdraw from multiple voice acting opportunities because I couldn't even get myself to record for anything without just breaking down and crying. And I remember one time sitting in front of my desk doing a waiting room for like 10 minutes, and I was just sitting there trying to calm myself down and, be able to entertain my fans, but I ended up just ending the stream before it even began because I had broken down in tears, and I really just could not get myself to stop crying. It felt like the entire time no one believed me and that I had to stay quiet despite what I was going through. I was told not to speak about this with anyone, not with my coworkers, no one, just to never speak of it or mention it again. I felt like I just couldn't risk showing what was really going on to the world, and because of that, I made a lot of mistakes. Together with some of my coworkers, I pleaded for the situation to be taken seriously. We emphasized that without proper intervention, the consequences would fall on everyone.
Why is no one taking action for that? So many people have pleaded. No one has taken action at all? That's messed up. Take actions if many people also have said that they're uncomfortable with something. Oh my god, take that seriously, please. A lot of things should be taken seriously. If this is not taken seriously, how are you going to manage a company like this?
But still, nothing had changed. In November 2024, Staff were made aware that private conversations had been leaked online. We urged them to respond or prepare for the fallout of everything. Nearly a month passed, with no communication nor action, until a video was published, and public backlash forced the situation kind of out into the open. I was then instructed to take a break from my work following an announcement of an investigation. Despite this, I never once felt that my concerns were ever meaningfully addressed. Most conversations focused not on resolving the matter, but on managing my exit. I remember the first call we had. For, I would say, 80% of it, I was explaining Vtuber culture and kind of what Vtubers were. And for the other 20%, I explained my experience with this person. And, I felt like I didn't have very much time to really delve into everything, and I was told that they would follow up and we'd speak more, and that never happened. Any following conversations pretty much happened because after pushing and pushing for a response on anything, I eventually kind of broke down and said, I want to quit. I want out. And immediately they kind of got back to me, and everything following that was details surrounding my leave and my exit. But to this day, I'm not confident any real investigation ever took place. I know that they were very clear in not admitting fault in any way. And I want to be honest, at one point, there were talks of a settlement, and I personally do not believe that if they truly did nothing wrong, that would have been something that they even considered. But ultimately, it's something that I had decided against. And I want to make it clear that I do have documentation to support my claims, including acknowledgements from the person involved, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. Their behavior has been reported to staff so many times over the years, and it has been well documented and recognized as an issue. On top of this, another coworker had leaked my outfit just 10 minutes after I had privately shared it. Not only did they expose something that I was really excited to be able to reveal to my fans and community, but they also added a lot of very mean and what I believe were manipulative comments to stir up drama and attempt to implicate me. What I feel like should have been a really happy moment was just completely ruined. I'm gonna try and shed some light onto the other situation now, and I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna be kind of a very difficult conversation for me, and I'm sorry that if I cannot convey myself properly. There are a lot of things that have happened, so I apologize that this is not as conclusive as it should be, or if things are out of place in terms of time or missing proper context. So, when I first met this person, they were very friendly, and we had bonded over games. They kept pushing me to play games, and although I really didn't want to, I eventually agreed because I just wanted to have a good relationship with all of my coworkers. Over time, their behavior really started to shift. I feel like once they felt more comfortable, they began calling me more often, making extremely flirty comments about my my appearance, and my voice, and they would often ask me to say specific things or quotes or phrases for them so that they could hear it in my voice. They would bring up my ASMR in a way that made me feel extremely, extremely uncomfortable.
That's disgusting. First of all, what the fuck? Why would I understand you're very comfortable with this person, but you have no right to ask these uncomfortable things because that's disgusting. Keep those to yourself. Or actually, no, don't even keep those to yourself. Don't think about them at all. That's creepy and disgusting. Don't even think about that. What? Don't do that.
They would want to call with me more and more. We're acting overly familiar and constantly just putting me down, calling me weird, asking if I was mentally disabled or had Tourette's, and claiming that others at work were uncomfortable around me. This really hurt at the time, but I later found out from another coworker that this wasn't true and that manipulation and bullying were just a pattern of his. I remember one time we were in call and they just kept repeating, like, why can't you be normal? Why can't you just be normal? And I don't know, as someone who's never really fit in, I feel like it just kind of hit very hard. But during one of these calls, they brought up the idea of meeting up in Japan, and I've always been a shy person, but I also struggle with severe agoraphobia. Even something as simple as going to the grocery store can end in a panic attack for me, which is something that I had already mentioned before. When they suggested meeting up, I kind of explained again that I wouldn't feel comfortable, and I even said that if I were in Japan, I probably wouldn't leave my hotel room. Their response made me kind of uneasy. Instead of respecting the boundary that I had set, they kept pushing, saying that I didn't really seem like that type of person to him. He would continue with things like, what if we were in Japan together? To which I stated, like, regardless of who was with me, I would still feel extremely uncomfortable. They then said, what if I was in Japan with you and I held your hand? And, I told them, like, that wouldn't change how I felt, and they followed up with, what if I hugged you? I repeated that I still wouldn't feel comfortable, that
Guys, boundary is a thing, guys. If someone says no, don't continue it. They already said they were uncomfortable. Don't continue this, please. Tips for everyone, girls, guys, whatever, and other genders as well, non-binaries. Please, if someone says no, don't continue it because they said no for a reason. Of course, they're gonna say no to every other things that you suggest. Don't force others. Oh my god. I'm like fuming in the inside right now. As someone who just likes to yap too, I'm supposed to be someone who's like non-based with opinions. Like, I'm not supposed to be someone who has opinions to any sorts of drama. Like, I'm not supposed to take sides. I'm supposed to be neutral. But this, please, like, this actually fumes me up listening to this.
and what I interpreted to be a very, very flirty tone, they had said, "What if we just stay in my hotel room together all day?" Sometime after this, I was invited to Japan under the pretense that they had not many people for their event and they really, really needed me. I later found out that this was completely false. They had more than enough people for the event, and I feel like they were just trying to guilt trip me to try to get me to show up. And thinking about it, I don't think I'm a very smart person. I felt uncomfortable, but I wanted to think the best, and if I was financially able, I probably would have went because I want to be a good coworker. I want to be a good friend, and thinking about like what could have happened. It's honestly something I don't really want to think about, but I do a lot. And to continue, I'm gonna try and not share many details here, to try and protect the identity of the other people who were involved, but the same exact behavior, the same offer to fly other people out to Japan if it meant that they would stay in the same hotel room with them.
Excuse me? What? You're gonna fly someone out just so you can stay in the same hotel as them. Some people may think that, oh, this is just okay. It should stay in the same hotel as a friend. No, that's not it in this situation. Oh my god. Terrible behavior, by the way. Don't do that. Terrible behavior.
Also happened at another point, and with another person, they got extremely aggressive with this person for not wanting to meet up with them on a trip.
Awaken to a
I feel like this behavior to me was extremely uncomfortable and inappropriate, especially given that we were coworkers and we had around a 10-year age gap between us. I think what maybe seemed like harmless flirting to them felt very invasive and manipulative to me. The way that they would just completely ignore my boundaries and try to kind of blur the line between professional relationships and personal ones made me feel very pressured and just ultimately unsafe. I'm gonna share a clip of a conversation that we had, where I basically, after finding out about what my friends had went through, I basically had confronted them about it. I feel like it's kind of weird when you offer to fly girls out, just in general. I'm getting a call.
In general.
Might be famous. I don't know, but don't you think
But it was like a half
that's-
joke.
I mean, you can't really half joke saying, "I'm gonna fly you to Japan, come stay at my hotel." That's not really a joke. Like, I feel like there are some things you should and should not say to someone who is like, because like, she is a really big fan of Nijisanji. You're on your Liver account. I feel like it's very awkward for her when you're saying, like, even if it's a joke, which I don't think it is. I don't think, like, you say my jokes like unhinged or whatever, but you don't just say, I'm gonna fly you out and you can stay in my hotel room. After we had this specific conversation,
Wait, I had to process that. Was that Aster Arcadia? I feel like that was Aster. Oh my god, I just got the chills when I heard that. What the hell? I guess we can't judge a book by its cover. I used to be such an Aster Arcadia fan. I don't know about now after hearing about this. Holy crap.
we continued to go back and forth on it for a bit. And at one point, they had said something to the effect of, well, your friend is just so nice, and I really couldn't help myself, you know? And I just felt like that kind of hit home for me. I don't think that someone being nice to you is an excuse to push their boundaries, and I don't want to say this lightly, because I do believe that my friend had it much worse than I did, but I don't think being nice is an excuse to sexually harass someone. I think another thing, many people have asked why I post publicly so often, and honestly, it's because it was the only way I ever received any form of response from my job. Every private attempt at communication was met with silence or redirection. I remember at one point, recently actually, they were upset because I had stated I want to stream and said, why didn't you just ask? Despite me and others pleading for months upon months for my return, and the only reason any of this even became public was because a friend chose to expose it, because I can't really put it any other way. I was stupid. I had trusted them. I truly considered them a friend, but it came to a point in our relationship where I felt like I had to set boundaries in response to their very abusive behavior, and they weren't happy with that, and they kind of stated that this was a way to get back at me. Looking back, I feel like I realized how naive I was to think that I could just handle it all on my own, but at the time, I felt like I had no one to turn to. My coworkers were already overwhelmed and dealing with plenty of issues, and I didn't want to bring my own issues into the mix and kind of just add more stress. So I guess that was very stupid of me. I'm not perfect. I've made so many mistakes, but I truly don't think I've ever acted out of malice to hurt someone else. And it does hurt to be painted as something I'm not. I only ever wanted to just do my work and take care of my fans and find a place where I could belong wholeheartedly without any fear or shame. I want to just take this moment, I guess, and I want to just sincerely apologize to my past, current, and the future fans for the things that were said. I've mentioned it on stream many times, but I just want to say it again clearly. I truly, truly do not care about money or expect anything from you. What I had said came from a moment of frustration during a very difficult time in my life. The financial stress and feeling unsafe in my work environment, and just being constantly disrespected by outsiders in my own space it made things worse. I was angry at everyone and angry at myself for not being able to do things for you. I wanted to be able to have fun events and do song covers and fun things for you guys, and being unable to just hurt. I don't want it to come off as an excuse. None of it justifies what I said, and I take full responsibility for my words. And I really am sorry if I've hurt you in any way. I also just want to clarify, the person mentioned in the video was not a fan of mine, but someone who had been stalking and harassing me and others for years, even after I had removed him from my community. He would continuously harass young women and Asian creators I'm trying to think of a not weird way to word it, but I guess just to fulfill his own fantasies. That still doesn't excuse the way that I spoke or the people that I hurt in the process. I let my anger and just not thinking get the best of me, and during that moment, I betrayed the trust and kindness of the people who genuinely supported me, and I'm truly sorry. To those who believed in me, who waited for me, I'm so sorry. I know I let you down. I made a lot of promises that I couldn't keep. And that failure is just something I don't think I can ever forget. You deserve so much better than me. I really did want to give you my all to be the best I could for you, but in the end, I couldn't. And for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry. You really mean everything to me. I don't think I'd even be here today if it wasn't for you. But I think that covers everything I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry if this wasn't what you wanted to hear, but this is what I felt like needed to be said.
Alright. You know, this is gonna be one of the videos where I have to give opinions. One, whoever that person that in that clip, disgusting behavior right there. Jesus. Oh my god. And I can't believe it was Asta Arcadia too. Alright. Yep. That's it for Twisty's, or used to be Twisty's, video. Um I hope that I hope everyone do learn to respect others' boundaries and not do what oh, that person did. Oh, I'm just fuming inside. Oh god. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for listening with me and listening to the fuming I have. Alright. Bye everyone.